Hey scholars, happy Monday. Welcome to week 6, and it is May 4th. So, hope all you Star Wars fans are excited about today. I'm going to start off with another set of announcements for today. I ended the week showing us how we did on our assignments from Monday through Friday. And overall, we had a really amazing improvement from the previous week. And I was so excited to see that we consistently had more scholars complete their work. So let's do a final update on last week. Here we go. Or you can do the symbols. All right. Here's the work that we accomplished last week. So from Monday through Thursday, consistently 60 or more of us were completing all of our assignments. That is incredible work. That is not just more than 50%, that's actually more than 70% of all of you who are completing your work, which is really, really amazing. Definitely should give yourselves multiple pats on the back for that one. Gotta get some applause sound effects going. And then on Friday, that is our lowest participation, which is totally understandable. I know that it is so exhausting by the end of the week, and it's really hard to stay motivated to complete any review. I want you guys to know, however, that it's still really important to continue to practice throughout the week, even on Fridays. The review that I've been making is pretty short. I understand it's Friday, and a lot of us, like I said, are pretty tired and maybe are struggling to stay motivated, but I've done my best to make sure that a review is short and simple. And really, the review is review questions from the quiz. So it's really, really helpful if you were confused on any of the questions from the quiz. So I am just so proud of your guys' accomplishments. It's really amazing to see that so many of you have been consistent, not just last week, but the whole entire time. And I definitely know who those scholars are. So this week, I would love to still see more scholars stay above 70%, meaning that more than 60 of us are doing our work each and every day. I would really love to see more scholars to finish their quiz on Thursday. So if we can get almost 70 of you to finish it, that would be really amazing. On Fridays, we can also have a goal of getting 60 or more scholars as well. That way we keep our nice straight line and not have it decline or dip off anymore. But I have some ideas. So I would really love to hear your thoughts on what we would like to do on Friday review. So it still needs to be academic, but if there's anything that you would love for me to teach, or if you would love for me to have in a video for us on Fridays to get more participation, I am all ears and open to any ideas. I already have some pretty cool ideas in mind right now for the rest of May, but I would love to hear your thoughts. Again, incredible job last week, scholars. I am so proud to see that more of you are getting all of your work completed. And I'm really pumped that some of you are catching up on the work that we've asked you to catch up on. So again, pats on the back. Cheers to you guys. I am so, so, so proud. Stick around for our guided practice on rounding this week.
All right, friends, before we get started on our guided practice today, we're going to do another review from Brain Pop. Today's video is actually going to be from Annie and Moby, and they're going to give us a quick review on rounding. Now, when you are watching the video, pay very close attention to some of the things that Annie and Moby are discussing. More specifically, what is rounding and what is the purpose of it? Enjoy the video from Brain Pop with Annie and Moby.
I'm doing a report on oceans, and I found some movies about ocean animals. But I only have 30 minutes of library time. This movie is 37 minutes long. That's about 40 minutes. Do I have enough time to watch it? When you estimate, you use what you know or see to make a reasonable guess about an amount. How do you round to the nearest 10? Here's a movie about coral reefs. About how long is the movie? Round the number to the nearest 10 to give you an estimate. The number 19 is between two tens, 10 and 20, but it's closer to 20. So when you round 19 to the nearest 10, you round up to 20. So this movie is about 20 minutes long. This movie on whales is 64 minutes long. Let's round that number to the nearest 10. 64 is between two tens, 60 and 70, but 64 is closer to 60. So when you round 64 to the nearest 10, you round down to 60. This movie is about 60 minutes long. This movie is 45 minutes long. 45 is right in the middle between 40 and 50. When a number falls right in the middle, we round up to the nearest 10. So 45 rounds up to 50. The movie on sharks is about 50 minutes long. When you round to the nearest 10, look at the digit in the ones place. If the digit is less than 5, round down to the nearest 10. If the digit is greater than 5, round up to the nearest 10. And if the digit is equal to 5, round up. If a two-digit number has a 0 in the ones place, then it's already rounded to the nearest 10. When I'm rounding, I like to think of numbers going over a hill. When I reach 5, which is at the top of the hill, it's easier to go over to the other side to the higher number. How can you round numbers to the nearest 100? Check out this movie, Moby. It's about dolphins. About how long is this movie? You can round to the nearest 100. 118 is between 100 and 200, but it's closer to 100. So when you round to the nearest 100, you round down to 100. This movie is about 100 minutes long. When you round to the nearest 100, look at the digit in the tens place to help you decide whether to round up or down. In 329, the digit in the tens place is 2. Since 2 is less than 5, you round down to the nearest 100. So 329 rounds down to 300. Round this number to the nearest 100. Remember, look at the digit in the tens place. Since 7 is greater than 5, you round up to the nearest 100. So 872 rounds up to 900. Now round 254 to the nearest 100. First look at the digit in the tens place. Since it's equal to 5, we round up to the nearest 100. So 254 rounds up to 300. Anyway, Moby, I only have 30 minutes of library time. Which movie can I watch? The movie about coral reefs is only about 20 minutes long. So I can watch that one. You want to learn about coral reefs, Moby?
Thanks to Annie and Moby for giving us that quick review on rounding. One of my favorite things about that video is that Annie kept reminding us that rounding is like estimating. That's right, estimating. Estimating is something that we do all the time. It's like taking a good guess. It's like that's right, a good guess. Now, what a good guess means is that you are closest to the value as you possibly can. So again, in the video, all of the examples that Annie was giving us is that every time you watched a movie, or every time she watched a movie, she would tell us that the movies were about a certain number of minutes. And each of those minutes was close, or as close as possible, to the values that she was estimating. So for example, the one movie that was 45 minutes, she estimated that it was about 50 minutes long. 50 is really close to the number 45. So we're going to use what we already know about rounding for the 10 and 100 to help us teach larger values this week in the thousands, 10,000s, and even 100,000. Say, whoa, those are really big numbers. But first, since it's been a long time since we've reviewed rounding, we're going to start off with some hundreds and some tens. Make sure you have your scrap piece of paper ready to go with a pen, pencil, or even a marker. Katie Badger is ready, as you can tell. All right, let's get started. Okay, go ahead and read the first question to yourself, and then I'll go ahead and read it aloud. Okay, question number 1 says, Moby has 30 cents. Which items could he buy? Round the prices to help you find the answer. All right, Kitty Badger, look at that picture right there. What are all the different items that he could possibly buy? Looks like he's got a marker. Or actually, that's a pen. Yeah, that's a pen. That's a pencil. This one is a crayon, and this one is an eraser. And actually, let me get my cursor going again. What should we choose? We should do cats. Yes. Here we go. Cat paws. Yeah. Okay, Kitty Badge. There is the pen, the pencil, the crayon, and the eraser. So it looks like those are different prices. And Moby has only 30 cents. So on our scrap piece of paper, let's go ahead and take note of the value of each of the items first before we go ahead and round each value. So the first two is the marker and the pencil, which is 32 cents and 16 cents. So, Patrick, do you have my pen? Oh, it's right there. Okay, so the pen is equal to 32 cents. Come here. Come here. Good girl. Okay. And then the pencil, the pencil was 16 cents. Okay. Now let's take note of the other two items, which was the crayon and the eraser. So the crayon was 12 cents and the eraser was 8 cents. All right, I was writing all of that down. Okay, and the question's asking for us to figure out what are the items that Moby can buy with the 30 cents. So we're going to round each value. Now, it doesn't tell us to round it doesn't tell us what value we need to round each of these to. But if Moby only has 30 cents, and each of these is 32, 16, 12, and 8, I'm not going to round it to the thousands or even to the hundreds. We're going to round it to the tens. So let's first start with 32. And my favorite strategy for rounding are using number lines. We practice for 2 weeks in our routines using number lines. So today we're going to be doing a lot of drawing, and we're going to continue that throughout the week. So let's draw a number line. And with that number line, we're going to label the value on each end. You're literally putting your silly kitty bathroom. So we're going to label the beginning and the end. Well, our number line is going to be based on what the values we are rounding. So for the pen is 32 cents. And since we're rounding to the tens, well, the tens in this number is 30. So the beginning part that we are going to label is 30. Then we're going to label the next 10. Well, what's the next 10 after 30? That's right, 40. Easy. The last thing that we're going to do with our number line before we figure out where 32 is we're going to find the value in the middle. We call that the midpoint. We call it that's right, the midpoint. So the midpoint is the value that's in the middle. So what's the value that's in the middle of 30 and 40? That's right, 35. Well, now let's find the value of 32 on the number line. Well, is 32 before 35 or is it after 35? It's before. It's also a little bit closer to 30, and I would say that 32 is right there. So which 10 would you say is closest to 32? 30. So if Moby had 30 cents, he could totally buy the pen. But when we go back and we look at all the answer choices, all of the answer choices show 2 items. So it looks like he could potentially buy more than one. So let's go ahead and round each of the values to the nearest 10. So the next one was the pencil. So let's draw another number line, just like our first one. We're going to label beginning, middle, and end. Well, this time we're talking about the pencil, and the pencil is 16 cents. We're still rounding to the closest 10, and the tens digit is a 1. So it looks like 16 has a 10, so I'll label that in the beginning. Then we're going to label the next 10. Well, the next 10 after 10 is 20. Now let's label our midpoint, which is awesome, 15. Go ahead and find 16 on your number line and then label it. Well, 16 is the number immediately after 15. Well, which 10 is closest? 10 or 20? Awesome. 20 is the closest value. Let's continue to do that with the crayon and the eraser. Actually, I also want to label my number line. So this first one was for the pen, and the second one was for the pencil. Okay, number line number 3, label beginning, middle, and end. Now we're talking about the crayon. The crayon is 12 cents. 1 is the digit in the tens place, and that 1 represents 10. The next value is 20, and by the next value, I mean the next 10 is 20. And the number that's in the middle is still 15. Go ahead and finish labeling your number line and also label where 10 is. Then circle the closest 10. Looks like 12 is closest to 10. It's only 2 away. And this one was the crayon. Okay, we have one more, which is the eraser. Use a different pen. And the eraser is only 8 cents. So this one seems like it would be a little bit tricky, but we got this. So 8, is it exactly to 10 yet? No. So what's the 10 that comes before it? If you were thinking 0, you're right. While 0 is not exactly 10, it is the whole number that is 10 away from 10. So then we're going to label the end of our number line 10, and the middle is going to be, that's right, 5. Let's go ahead now and label where 8 is on our number line. Then find the closest 10. Awesome. 8 rounded to the nearest 10 is 10. Now let's go ahead and review our answer choices. Let me scoop this out. Okay, now let's go ahead and go through our answer choices. Letter A says that Moby could buy a pen and a pencil for 30 cents. Okay, let's go back and find what the value of the pencil was when we rounded to the closest 10. Well, the pencil is 20. The pen is 30. Well, could Moby buy the pen and the pencil if he only has 30 cents? No. The pen and pencil combined is 50 cents. Unfortunately, Moby doesn't have enough. Let's go ahead and look through answer B, the pen and the crayon. Well, the pen is still 30 cents, and the crayon is 10 cents. Could Moby buy the pen and the crayon? No. The pen and the crayon together are 40 cents. Moby still only has 30 cents. So it looks like it's not B either. Letter C says the pencil and the eraser. Well, the pencil is 20 cents and the eraser is 10 cents. Could Moby buy the pencil and the eraser? Yes. The pencil and the eraser combined are 30 cents. That is the amount of money that Moby has. So far, it looks like our answer choice is letter C. Let's go ahead and evaluate the last one just to be sure. Could Moby buy the pen and the eraser? No. The pen and the eraser would be 40 cents. That's not enough. And that's too much. So it looks like Moby can only buy the pencil and the eraser. Go ahead and click letter C. Nice job, dudes. All right, arrange your scratch piece of paper for question number 2. Actually, I'm gonna put mine on my next column over here. Let's go ahead and read question number 2 together. Which number becomes 300 when rounding to the nearest 100? When the question asks which number, it means that we're going to have to evaluate each choice. So we're going to go through each of these choices, use a number line to help us round, and this time the question does tell us what value we're rounding to, and that value is awesome. It's the hundreds. So choice letter A is 130. Well, let's just think about that on its own. Do you think when we're thinking about the closest hundred, is 300 close to 130? No, that's just too far away. So that one is reasonable for us to just eliminate right away. We don't even need to use a number line. 130 is not close to 300. Okay, now let's go ahead and look at choice letter B. Choice letter B says 200. Draw your number line, putting a label for the beginning, the middle, and the end. Well, we're rounding to the nearest hundred. Well, the digit 2 is in the hundreds place. So that value is 200. Well, the next hundred is 300. And the value that's in the middle, amazing, is 250. Now, when we label 200 on our number line, 200 is already its closest hundred. So letter B is a choice that we can also eliminate. Let's go ahead and look at letter C now. Letter C is 240. Draw your number line, label beginning, middle, and end. Now we're still talking about the hundreds. So even though this number is showing a 10 in the tens place, we're still labeling the hundreds. The 2 digit is 200. Well, the next 100 is still 300, and the value that's in the middle is still 250. Go ahead and label 240 on your number line. $240 is pretty close to 250. But it's still closest to, that's right, 200. So 240 would not get rounded to 300 when we're thinking about the closest hundred. So let's go ahead now and evaluate the last one. So letter D is 340. Just like all the other choices, we're going to make one more number line, labeling beginning, middle, and end. This time, the digit in the hundreds place is 300. The next 100 after 300 is, you guessed it, 400. And the value that's in the middle is 350. Awesome. Go ahead and label 340 on your number line. Well, that's easy. It was very much like the last example, except for this time it's 340. And looks like 340 is really close to 300. So it looks like letter D, 340, when rounding to the nearest hundred, would be 300. Let's go ahead and select D as our answer. Meow. Okay. One more question for our practice for today. Go ahead and organize your scrap piece of paper. Okay, this time it says, which number becomes 4,000 when rounded to the nearest 1,000. Okay, so now our values are just getting bigger. All of the rules still apply. We're still going to be drawing number lines to show beginning, middle, and end. Then we're going to find which of those thousands is closest. Okay, scholars, for the last question, we're definitely going to use our scrap piece of paper, but I'm also going to show you a resource that I'm going to attach to our form. So then that way you guys can also use something online to help you and not just what's on a piece of paper. So this is going to be an interactive number line. What that basically means is that there's going to be a number line that you can use, that you can play with, and you can add all of the different values from the numbers for each of the questions. So again, you can use this as a resource for you to help you with your independent practice. All right, it's pretty sweet actually. So it looks like this, and as you can tell, it's like already a number line. And so I already have the number line showing values that are in the thousands, specifically for this question right here in the 4,000. But I want to kind of show you through some other really neat things about it. So here at the top, you notice that there's kind of like this slightly blue bar. If you click on the bar, you can actually move it to get larger if you go to the right, or you can move it smaller by going to the left. So that's pretty cool. Well, you might notice that my numbers are only in the thousands. Well, I can actually change that. So when I go to the bottom left, this little second button that shows the number line plus a little gear, when I click on that, I can change all the different settings. So for the purposes of our practices this week, we're going to keep it on whole numbers. Definitely keep it on whole numbers. Then when you click the arrow, you can now choose whether or not you want it showing one at a time, as in like 1, 2, 3, or if you want to show twos or fives, so all the multiples of those values, tens, 25s, and then hundreds. So as the numbers get bigger when we're in the thousands, and especially when we're in the tens and hundreds of thousands, it's probably a really good idea that you keep it showing just the hundreds. So this is the larger values. But for all the smaller values in today's independent practice, you might want to put at tens. And now you notice that my number line changed to go to 2,870 to 2,880. So now it's in increments of 10. So you can play with that and change all the different settings. And then right here at the bottom, it says start at. You can literally start at any value. So I can actually change this to say I want it to start at 1. Now my number line shows all the way to the far left at 1, more specifically 0, showing increments of 100. But for the last question, I actually want it to show 4,000. So I'm going to put a number that's actually slightly before 4,000. More specifically, I'm going to show 2,500. So now I can see that 2,500 is all the way to the left. But then when I continue to move to the right, I'm getting closer to 4,000. And so some of the numbers that we're going to be working with the question, it's going to be really close to those values. So that's why I've chosen that. And then the last thing is that you can change the space. You can make it really close, separate it a little bit more, and then you can make it really far apart. Kind of like it in the middle. So that's where I'm keeping it. Yeah. Okay. So for question number 3, we're rounding to 4,000. So if I scroll a little bit, we can see that 4,000 is right here. And also a cool thing about the number line is I can mark it. So I'm actually going to mark it with a pen. Let's see, what color should I use? Let's do blue. All right, so I'm going to mark this value right here. So we're thinking about all the numbers that are close as possible to 4,000. Okay, so the first answer choice is 3,130. So I'm actually going to mark that on the number line, so I'm not going to use the tool anymore. So So I'm going to scroll and I'm going to look for 3,130. So I need to go to the left, make it a little bit smaller. All right, 3,130 is going to be about right here. So I'm going to mark that in a different way. I'm going to mark that by using what's called this little custom tick mark. And once I click on the custom tick mark, you'll notice that it pops up. So now I can actually label that 3,130. And I think 3,130 is going to be about like, yeah, like probably like right there, right? Yeah. And I'm going to type it in now. Or you can actually click 3,130. And I can change the color if I want. So how about making it red? Okay, 3,130. The next answer choice is 4,600. So it looks like I'm going to scroll to the right now. 4,600 right on the dot. All right, I'm going to use that custom tick mark again. This time, I'm going to move it. Can I move it? Yeah. There we go. Now that one's also going to be in red. Okay. 3,840. That one is going back to 4,000, so 3,840. That one will probably be like right there. Also make that in red. And then the last answer choice is 3,340. So 3,340. I'll put another tick mark over here. I like to lift it. If I lift it up, yeah, if I lift it up, then I can like read it a lot better. 3,340. So about right there. 3,340. Still in red. Okay, so we made all of the numbers on the number line. Okay, now that I've plotted all of the points, or more specifically all these values in the number lines, what we're just going to do is we're simply just going to look at them and be like, which one of these is closest to 4,000? So as we go through these, looks like the closest value is 3,840. 3,840, when rounding to the nearest thousand, would be 4,000. Let's go ahead and select that on our answer choice. 3,840. Meow. Awesome job, dudes. Use that number line to help you on your independent practice today. If not, you can go ahead and continue to draw those number lines to help you solve those problems. They are very, very, very helpful. So definitely take the time to draw them. We're going to show the beginning, the middle, and the end. And remember that middle is called the midpoint.